What's up, y'all? This is Jeffery, Jeffery TV, coming to you from the default route at the default location back in beautiful Southern California after about 10 days in northeastern Ohio, the ultimate remote location. Spending it with family, granddaughter, hanging out. My life is easy. My life is easy, and I'm soft. Compared to a lot of the experiences I see going on around me, I'm soft. So when something happens to me, relatively speaking, it may or may not have a greater impact on me than somebody who goes through it every day. It's just certain things I'm just not used to experiencing every day. There's just certain things that I have eliminated from my life. Can I put it that way? There are certain things that I distance myself from. I don't know how to put it, but there's just certain situations I've learned to stay out of in my 60 years on this planet to avoid. But some things are just unavoidable. And they touch you. You get touched and there's no way around it. And I'm probably not used to being touched. I'm not used to being touched, but anyway. How can I start this off? Because like I said, I was touched. I was moved. It was, it took me up to level 10. Granddaughter. So me and granddaughter, first we met up with the family. My ex, her husband, my daughter, granddaughter, we went to Canfield Fair and went through the dinosaur drive-through. It was $12 a car. We had a good time. It was more about the time we had in the car and granddaughter seeing the dinosaurs, little dinosaurs. They were like moving, on the side, and you drove past them, all the cars there. It was a nice little, maybe 40-minute wait, so we had a good time. Get through with that, come home, had to go to the mall, pick up my hats, my custom hats I had made. I said, all right, let me and daughter run out there, and my daughter go ahead and get dressed. So we run out there, and then we at the mall, and then we walking. She having a good time because I let her walk, by herself. I keep an eye on her and I look around and everything, but I let her walk by herself and, kind of get used to running into people, or not running into, but how to navigate people, how she got to look up, and, they learn all that stuff. So we go, everything good. I get my hats. Then we go back to the play area. Everything's cool. She happy. Because she's very familiar with that play area. She'll be going there just about all her life or whatever that means. So she running around playing. So I'm sitting there chilling, on the phone, and I'm watching her run. And I'm not sure if it was her, a bunch of kids running, but she was just running. Next thing you know, I see her trip, and then boom. And I was like, my first reaction is always, you all right? You all right? And I look up and I turn and I see everybody looking at me in my peripheral. I mean, like really look like that. And I saw it, but I was just like, she's okay. I got up. She had fell and hit her head on the corner of the enclosure. We're in the corner of the enclosures. Blood. So I get to her, and I look at her, she's screaming. She's looking up at me, she's screaming, she knows she hurt. She's looking for that, person to be there. I grab her, I pick her up, I take a look, and they got her. It was split, skin is split, deep wound over the eyebrow. Like I said, blood. I picked her up. First thing that went through my mind was, oh shit. First thing that was on my mind was, oh shit, this is Jeffery TV. And as you know, it's easier for me to tell the story from my perspective, and everything comes from my vision. The first thing I thought was, this happened under my watch, and who to tell, what's the reaction to tell. That instantly went through my head. That was my first reaction. Oh shit, you know, stitches, this was a deep wound, this is gonna probably leave a mark, you know, on the most precious thing on the planet to some people that I know. And I'm like, because I looked at it, I saw her crying, and you know, I haven't been through this stuff before, you know, stitches and my mother being a nurse and, you know, my little exploits going through this, the doctor, emergency room, blah, 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 blah. You know, that part I had down. That part I had down. One thing I can say through all of this is that at no point did I not know what to do. At no point did I feel confused and overwhelmed and, oh God, what am I gonna do? No. There's a few questions I had to ask, and it was some help I may have needed, but you know, I was calm through it. She was screaming. I got some napkins from somebody sitting next to me. Got the blood off her eye. It kind of stopped bleeding. Blood off her face, there's blood on her shirt. And you can see the wound. It was deep. It was split. So I'm looking at that. And I'm looking at her, making sure she's okay. You know, she was kind of lethargic. For her, she was extremely lethargic. I could just pick her hands up and drop her, and she just, you know, she was just like, ugh. You know, that had me worried. And while I'm taking care of her, getting her, people came around, and some lady, whatever, came over and called 911. She was saying they just left. So they called 911. And while I waited on 911 to come, you know, so the ambulance and the paramedic pull up. You know, I got it stopped bleeding, but you can still see it, you know, deep wound. She had stopped crying, and she was kind of out of it. And I wasn't sure what that meant. So I just kept her, hey, Gianna, granddaughter, look, you know. Let's try to keep her alert, because you see all the thing on TV, they say don't let them go to sleep. So, and through it all, she was a trooper. Through it all, you know, other family members say that, you know, at the other end, you know, it's probably more traumatic on us than it was on her. So the paramedic came in, they looked at it, asked us some questions. I had to sign a few things, this and that. They bandaged it up, and I asked them, and I'm thinking, okay, I gotta tell Kimberly. And I commend my mother for this. I knew what and how and everything to say. I wasn't even worried about that part. That part I wasn't even, you know, it's like I've been trained in this. I knew what to say, how to say it, you know, when I make that call. So I made the call and I told her, and I guess she didn't believe me, you know, so I said, and then on the way to get her, I said, I need to get the mother. There's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to go to the hospital, go straight to the ER with Kimberly's car, and, you know, Kimberly not be able to get there. And then I thought her mother could pick her up and meet us there. And do I need to get granddaughter to the ER as quick as possible? She losing consciousness, all this is going through my head. So I'm driving. I called Kimberly, I said, all right, we coming to get you? She's like, yeah, all right. I guess she thought I was joking. So, See, that I had a muted conversation. Somebody sending a whole bunch of messages about this show. So, so she thought I was joking. So she come in the car. I drive up, blowing, blah, 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 blah. She come to the car, and she look in the car, and she see the bandage on granddaughter's head, and granddaughter just kind of, like woozy. Granted, it was past her nap time, and she had been through a lot, and some sleep would have been, she's probably ready just to, zone out and just, let it pass. And then we got to the doctors, and they looked at her early before the, obvious stitches. They said it was okay. Yeah, it's better she, get some rest, get some sleep, get ready for the sutures. So I was like, okay. The father came, he got there, and I picked up my daughter. She saw the bandage on her head. She immediately, tears, emotion. I'm like, all right. And she got in the car, started driving, got him to the emergency room, got him in, got him checked out. And just to see the emotion on my daughter, I ain't gonna say she was a mess, but I'm not used to seeing her in that, capacity. We don't cry around each other. At least I don't. But this was her daughter. I don't even think she saw the wound until a little bit later. Neither one of them could look at it. It was just, they had to turn away immediately. It was, oh God, Where, I'm not gonna say that I was there and handled it, but I was there when it happened. I had to go through it. And I'm not saying, it's easier, harder on me or them. No way in hell, but I'm not saying that. But this is Jeffery TV. And in general, I think the only way human beings can see things is through their own lens. And I think that's the way the story should be told, is through your own lens. Instead of trying to tell it in a more wider aspect. You only can say what you saw and what you felt and what you know. So, I'm not saying, what I went through was tougher or rougher or whatever, but I was shook. I was shook too. And I thought about the long-term ramifications, scarring. And I knew she was gonna be okay. Once I got her to the hospital and the doctors looked at her and they did the eye thing and the ear thing and they asked questions, did she pass out, did she throw up, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, she could be okay. So now it's just a matter of, getting the suture and stuff fixed. Father came. Kimberly was there. Kimberly said I could leave. And I didn't hesitate. I did not hesitate. I got out of there. I don't know if it was the tension or whatever. I had done my part so much, but, I was like, not so much that do I need to be here, but kind of like that. I mean, because, I've been through, not that I don't want to keep saying like I've been through anything. I don't want to say that, but, I could have I was ready to take a breath myself, So I left. I sat in the car for like 20 minutes. I just sat there in the parking lot for maybe like 20 minutes, just coming down, settling. And I went back to Kimberly's house, just kind of bumped around there, kind of started packing because I was leaving the next day. This happened on a Saturday. We were supposed to go to the zoo on Sunday and I was getting a room and just gonna stay there because the flight was at 6 a.m. and they had a shuttle. So we was gonna go to the zoo, they was gonna drive back and all that. Still definitely feeling something about, what happened. Definitely still feeling it. And I've yet to see granddaughter yet. Video chat or whatever. They said the stitches I guess, look, much better, whatever that means, healing, coconut oil, keeping it moist, all that, through over the years to lessen the scarring, blah, 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 all that stuff. Change bandages and all that. She definitely got a team behind her and they stepped up, during it, I'm like, oh God, my ex gonna go off. My ex, Grandma, Kimberly's mother gonna go off. And she did. And one thing about Terry, I would say, the moments she seemed like she should be going ballistic, she don't. Like the birth of her children, she was calm. But let something kind of off the wall happen, she ready to blow up half Youngstown. But like the big stuff, she just, responded. She was amazing, actually, So, they came after Granddaughter got her bandage and she was kind of getting back to normal. Her father, Joe, Terry, all came over and I was in there, getting ready, packing up, doing this, just keeping busy, basically. Just trying to keep busy. I knew I couldn't eat. I knew there wasn't gonna be no eating until things got to a settle or stable, I knew something. She came back and, I saw her. She, kissed. And like I said, it was probably harder on us than her. And I guess they say pretty much back to normal. But, for it to happen on my watch, number one, this is like the first, and they, pretty much everybody agrees this is the first of many. There'll be more. There will definitely be more. And then I'm sitting in the emergency room thinking, and I'm seeing other people come and go. And I'm thinking, it could have been much, 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 much worse. And I don't even want to think about that part. I'm not gonna say that, we're lucky or this or that or that or this, but it definitely could have been much, 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 much worse. And going back to me again, I was confident in the way I handled it, what I needed to do. I don't want to say, and to put it crudely, and probably a lot of people would probably leave this part out, there was nothing I could have done. I did everything right. Not, as far as, I'm just saying I didn't do anything wrong. It's not like I had her playing in the middle of the street or anything. This is coming from a point of me and my responsibility and or accepting responsibility or trying to justify responsibility or whatever. A lot of people are gonna look at it different ways. A lot of people are gonna look at it different ways of handling it, or what should have been done, what could have been done. In hindsight, before it to happen to me on my watch, for me to go through it, to be that person, they gotta call and tell these people. I see how these people act around that child, so I knew, that I was gonna have to be, quote unquote, strong, or, I don't wanna say, not strong may not be the word, but I knew I was gonna have to, I don't know. I guess for me, not be strong, but something like that, I had to be prepared, I guess. I had to be prepared for emotions from people, human emotion. I know humans, whether I agree with it or not, whether I partake in the practice of displaced emotional outbursts and triggering or whatever. I'm not saying these people do, the humans do. Humans, they'll, if they mad, closest thing is gonna get it. And I understand it makes them feel better, whatever that means, to work it out, to exercise those emotions on something. And once I saw the situation with granddaughter, concentrating on making sure she's okay, making sure that situation was stable, though not complete, doing that part, you know, about 1,000 things going through my head, 1,000 things. You know, who to call, you know, should I take her to the hospital first? Should I go get Kimberly? No way in hell. I'm gonna be able to take this child to the hospital, call Kimberly, and she can't get to the hospital. That I knew better. And I thought, well, her mother could pick her up and then come to the hospital. I'm like, I don't want them people on the road. No, I don't want them people, you know, I don't want Terry them driving to pick up somebody and come in. No, you don't, I don't want these people, no, that child is everything. And I knew, you know, to alleviate that pressure. Still, I still ain't told my mother yet. I gotta tell her. I gotta figure out a way how I'm gonna tell her. So maybe I'll just send her the video. Maybe I'll just send her this video. So, because these people, they're reactive. They want to get involved. I know if I tell my mother, she's gonna be calling. She's gonna try, Kimberly is okay? Is Kimberly okay? Is John okay? What's this, what's that? Is she doing this, is she doing that? I even told Kimberly, I said, I'm gonna wait a day before I tell my mother that I hope you gonna be ready. I'll give you a few days before I tell her. Because you know it's gonna turn back up again. So, if I gotta say, I might just do that. I just might send this to my mother and have to be my way to tell her. That way she can watch it and, you know, then call me or get with me later. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. But it's something. I'm not used to going through stuff like that. And I know damn well it's a part of life. It's a part of life that I may or may not have insulated myself from or isolated myself from. It's a part of life that I'm definitely not, that I definitely don't experience often. It's just the whole family dynamics. When I go back there and I see them fussing, because families fuss, and I said families fuss, and it's messy. And I think that's the way it has to be sometimes. It may be, some people might say it's dysfunctional. I mean, from a standpoint, from where I come from, and I didn't mean to get into the messy part. I mean, just the emotions, When you deal with emotions, it's not like you're gonna be sitting at a boardroom discussing something with PowerPoint presentations and, you know, scientifically and methodically. No, that's not how families operate. They don't operate at that level. And that's basically what I'm talking about. So I knew the emotions were gonna have to be dealt with. And I think I had to, that's a good way to put it. I had to prepare myself for that. That's the way I wanna say it. There it is, right there. I knew I had to prepare myself to deal with the emotions of the adults involved in this situation. And I anticipated it to be much, quote unquote, worse than it really, really was. Everybody understood pretty much, you know, understood it the same way I understood it. Let's just put it that way. I ain't gonna say the same way, right way, or whatever. It seems people pretty much saw it the same way I saw it. And that's all I can, you know, ask for. And again, this is Jeffery TV, so you might say, well, what about granddaughter? What about granddaughter? Granddaughter's fine. That's why, you know, I'll use that as an excuse or whatever to keep talking about me. I mean, because that's, you know, that's, talking about me is what Jeffery does, my perspective. But granddaughter's fine. You know, I can't wait to see, you know, the scar, to put it crudely, see how her reaction is if she back to her normal self. Because the child, well, she ain't the child. The child is the child. Granddaughter, energetic, curious, funny, just a good child. Just a good child. You know, spend her night in her own bed without a pacifier. A little bit of fussing, a little bit of this and that, but not too much. Second night, a little bit more difficult, but nothing, you know, wasn't no blaring, screaming, or rage or anything. And it's a lot because it's constant energy, and if you're there, you have to be engaged with it. She's gonna want to engage with you. And I'm really not used to that. I'm used to sitting in my apartment by myself for days at a time. Well, I used to anyway. Now at least, you know, with the walking and stuff, I can get out walking. But then again, even when I'm walking by myself. So, you know, just to have the constant, and she gonna bump you and step on you, sneeze on you, spit on you, drool on you, you know, talk right in the middle of the best part of the movie, scream, come running in, dive on you, all that. You know, there's no boundary. And, but I will say it's not, which her boundaries are even less with her mother and grandmother. I was like, oh, she does that to you? She don't do that to me. And then I stop and think about it and I say, and I don't want her to. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. In fact, that's not my role. My role is to be almost the enforcer. You know, because she still has maybe a fear or respect of me, and I want to maintain that to a degree, a healthy degree. Have her, I guess, learn how to deal with authority, whether it be real or imagined, job or whatever. Not be intimidated, but understand that, you know, grandfather will get upset and he'll raise his voice if you trigger him a certain way. You say, oh, grandfather don't like when I do that. You know, because she learns, she'll pick up on it real quick. You know, she's smart. She knows what she can get away with. She'll look right at me right before she do something. So all of that's just fun to play with. We go on our walks and all that. And when they came back, and I saw her, you know, the first thing I said was, I ain't used to caring about nobody. I said, you all right? I said, I ain't used to caring about nobody. And she looked at me and looked away, and, you know, she had her people around her, so I'm sure she feels safe and, you know, all of that. You know, she got a team. She got one hell of a team, that's for sure. So that was that. Then, and then see, after that, that was Saturday. Sunday, there was some shenanigans. So I had to end up getting an Uber to the airport. Country boy took me there. Didn't want to stop talking, so I had to zone out on him, talking about his DVD collection, and all his Game of Thrones, his Xbox games and all that kind of stuff. Just, you know, country boy, definitely white boy country. You know, it was cool, but, you know, I was just, had to, you know, get to myself. Got to the hotel, knew I had to get up at 3:15 a.m. Checked in about 4 or 5, I guess. Ate food that I brought from the house, didn't even buy nothing. Ate food, stuff I bought. I was just I just wanted to exhale, relax, got up 3:15. So I get up at 3:15, which is 12:15 California time. Fly to LA, get to LA about 8. I think I got home about 10. Didn't unpack, but got my computer set up, unpacked a few things. Mr. Scale, of course. Got Mr. Scale out. Unpacked a few things. It got ready so that I could take a nap. Because I didn't eat. I made sure I didn't eat. I ate before I went to bed. And I think I probably went to sleep about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I tried to get 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was in the bed. I think even before that, 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, I was in the bed. I was eating in the bed. Drifted off, watching 3 Body Problem, and got up. So I get on the airplane, fly here, halfway unpack, get things ready for work, take a nap, get up in an hour. I slept on the airplane now. I did get some sleep on the airplane. So I wasn't totally, completely wasted or nothing. And then I got an hour sleep or so after I got home. Punched in the clock, started working. And remembered it was tax day. And then had to deal with that. Had to run down some documents, but by then I was kind of into it. I was still sluggish and things were still kind of difficult. And I'm still kind of sluggish. Then I get my tax bill for this year. How much I made, how much this and that, how much I got to pay. That didn't make me happy at all. That did not make me happy at all. I'm gonna work on that. Capital gains. I gotta get that capital gains thing eliminated. I'm gonna tell my financial advisor, I don't care. If I lose money now, I don't care. I don't wanna do this again. It's irrational, I'm being irrational. I don't wanna do this again. I wanna get rid of it. I wanna get that money moved to where I don't incur that much capital gains. I just don't wanna go through it no more. But anyway, that's the story. So I'm still recovering. It's Tuesday. It's gonna be 80 degrees today. Back in my own bed, back in my own space. Mr. Scale said 222.2 today, which is very good considering I'm coming from Ohio and the way I eat back there. Been maintaining my 10K steps. Haven't missed maybe a month or so, over a month. So I'm fighting it. Things coming up. Vegas, New Orleans, travel this summer. It's just gonna be lots of money. That's just all one way to put it. It's just gonna be lots and lots of money. That's the only way I can put it. And so, and then the tax burden I had to pay, it's just a lot. It just continues and continues and continues. And that's what life is about. Life is supposed to be this way. So you're gonna appreciate the ups. You appreciate the quiet times when you have to deal with certain things. Anyway, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk, and for granddaughter. Granddaughter, I'll tell you, kids are life-changing. Kids in the family are life-changing. This child has completely energized the family. Like you haven't seen. We doing stuff with each other that we would not have dreamed of for that child. And she's able to carry it. She got the personality and the energy and the confidence and the whatever. She can carry all of us. She's handling it. She knows. She can carry it. She can handle it. And for every elementary particle in every atom, in this, or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. Totality of it all. Theory of universe. Theory of universe. Theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.